everyone, and welcome to your award-winning Kingsport Chamber Zone. We are the show that is all about Kingsport in this fantastic community that we call home. I am Laura Woods with Care Centers Management Consulting, and that's not Bob.
Not Bob.
In case you didn't notice. In fact, this is Nicole Austin, who is with the Kingsport Chamber. She is filling in with Bob as my co-host today while Bob is off doing his fatherly duties. Nicole, we are so glad to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Nicole, of course, heads up the workforce development and government relations sector there at the Kingsport Chamber, does a fantastic job. And Nicole, we are coming today from a really cool place here in Kingsport, and it is the Full Gospel Mission Church, which is home of the Kitchen of Hope. HOPE stands for Helping Other People Eat. It is a wonderful organization that has been around for 15 years, and we cannot wait to highlight it for you and tell you how you can help out in serving the needy in this area.
That's right. Founded by the pastor Geraldine Swaggerty, the Kitchen of Hope serves a daily hot meal 6 days a week to those that are in need of a meal. And they serve approximately 120 to 180 meals a day.
Amazing.
Or around 32,000 meals a year. And that's just absolutely incredible, the work that they're doing here. We're going to tell you more about this inspiring organization and how you can get involved and help out.
It is a wonderful organization, and another wonderful organization that we can't wait to highlight for you on today's show is the Kingsport Carousel. Of course, we've been talking about it for quite some time. It's hard to believe it is as close as it is to being a reality, and we will highlight you, give you the latest on that project.
Absolutely. We also are going to be joined by the DB Band. The Band, this amazing 400-plus student organization, always gives a stellar performance. And this is attested by the fact that when it's halftime at DB's J. Fred Johnson Stadium, no one ever wants to leave their seat because they don't want to miss the band.
That's exactly right.
So we're going to preview their fall halftime show and tell you a little bit about some of the upcoming trips that this amazing, talented group of students have planned.
We have so much going on today. Bob's missing out on a great show. We can't wait to get to all of that for you. But of course, before we do that, we do have your latest Kingsport Chamber news and highlights. Here they are. We are so pleased to be joined by our host today on the Kingsport Chamber Zone. Mike Jackson is a volunteer and board member with the Kitchen of Hope here. Mike, welcome.
Well, thank you, and welcome to the Kitchen of Hope, located at the Full Gospel Mission Church.
It's just a fantastic organization, and we want to hear more about it. So please, tell us all about the Kitchen of Hope.
Well, the Kitchen of Hope is a ministry of this small church, the Full Gospel Mission Church. It was started in 1999 by the pastor of the church, Reverend Geraldine Swaggerty. And as I understand her, she felt the Lord calling her to feed people. So she took, I think, $169 of her own money, got authorization from the church members to use the facility, and started preparing meals and going out on the street and inviting people in. And it has grown significantly since that time. We've been here for 15 years now.
And you've been a volunteer during that whole time, right?
Almost the whole time, yes.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Yes.
Tell us about the people you serve.
The people we serve are, for the most part, located close enough to walk here, which is important. This is a good location from that standpoint. We serve anyone who is hungry. There's no questions asked. There's no qualification, no forms to fill out. We have homeless people that we feed. We have people on fixed income, and people that maybe have lost their job or just in transition between jobs. Whatever the need is, whatever the reason, they are, more than welcome to come and get a meal here.
And for those that are in need of a daily meal, how can they go about being served by the Kitchen of Hope?
All they have to do is show up here between 3:30 and 5 every day, Monday through Saturday.
Okay.
The only day we do not serve is Sunday, and that's obviously the church needs the facility on Sundays.
Talk to us about some of the challenges that you all face here at the Kitchen of Hope.
First of all, I want to acknowledge all the support we have received that has enabled us to be here for 15 years. The community's been great. From Reverend Swaggerty's beginning, like I told you, it has grown to the point that we have about 175 volunteers that are involved on a monthly basis. We have 13 churches that provide teams to serve here. And we have a lot of other churches that support it in different ways. And the community has been very good to support the Kitchen of Hope. Now, with that being said, we face the same challenges that most nonprofit charitable organizations are facing, in that the needs have increased significantly. When we first started in 1999, we were serving, I'm guessing, maybe 1,000 meals a month. By 2005, we were serving close to 1,700 meals a month. Today, we're serving over 3,000 meals a month. That's 120 to 125 people per day on average. Some days we get 175 people or more.
Wow.
And it's just a real challenge. We're in a small facility, in an older building. We have regulatory requirements that we have to meet, and of course we all know that the cost of food and supplies has increased significantly over the years. So we have a lot of challenges.
You do have a lot of challenges, so when people who hear this want to help you meet those challenges, how do they do that? What's the best way to go about doing that?
Well, certainly donations are extremely important. That's what enables us to operate. We operate very efficiently. We operate on about $2,000 a month, which comes out to 63 cents per meal per person that we serve. But the best way that people can help us is to make a donation. We can also obviously utilize more volunteers.
Sure. Well, and you mentioned you're a longtime volunteer, and you do have a lot of volunteers, but you're always in need of others to help. If someone's interested in volunteering, tell us a little bit how you would utilize your volunteers and how they can do that.
Well, we have teams that are assigned to each day of the month. And so if someone wants to be involved, we would plug them in to a team to help, and that would be a recurring commitment, whether it's monthly, weekly, however often the person wants to serve. And we are currently in need of 3 additional teams. We are not able to serve right now on the 1st Thursday of the month, the 4th Thursday of the month, and the 5th Wednesday, because we simply do not have volunteers to serve on those days. So if there's anybody out there that could get a team together and make a commitment to serve once a month to fill those needs, that would be great. And I can tell you, you're serving others, but to volunteer here is such a blessing. You get as much or more of a blessing by serving than the people that you serve.
Now, about how many people do you have on a team?
Roughly 5. Okay. You can do it with 4, you can do it with 6, but 5 on
So we're not talking about like 30 people that you need when you're saying you need a team. You just need a handful of people to get together.
Our kitchen space is very limited, so if you get more than 5 or 6, you're on top of each other.
Sure.
So.
Mike, if people want more information, they want to donate, they want to get in touch with you about putting that team in place, whatever the case might be, what's the best way to reach out to you all?
Well, the best way is to contact Nellie Valk Roberts.
Okay.
Nellie, like myself, is a long-term volunteer here, and she's very committed to the kitchen, and she coordinates basically most everything that goes on. And she has a HOPE team, a team of volunteers. They meet regularly and address whatever issues that need to be addressed. But they could contact Nellie at area code 423-914-9982. Or her email is s_n_roberts@hotmail.com. Also, I think we will have that information on the screen in case I messed that up.
Wonderful. Well, Mike Jackson with the Kitchen of Hope, thank you for hosting your Chamber Zone today and for all the extraordinary work that you're doing to help those in our area that are hungry.
Well, thank you for being here. One other thing that I failed to mention is that as far as donations, they should be mailed to Post Office Box 3112 in Kingsport, and the zip code is 37664.
Great. Again, Mike, thank you so much. Wonderful organization here. We appreciate you having us today.
Thank you for being here.
Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to have the latest on the Kingsport Carousel project right after this. And welcome back to this edition of your Kingsport Chamber Zone on location from the Kitchen of Hope.
My son Braden is just one of thousands of kids, adults really, that is very excited about the Kingsport Carousel project and can't wait for it to open. Here today to tell us more about the Kingsport Carousel is Valerie Yo. Valerie is the founder of Blue Ridge Properties, a former Kingsport alderman, and has been a volunteer with the Kingsport Carousel since day one. And when I say day one, I actually meet even before day one, and we want to hear more on that in a moment. Welcome to Chamber Zone, Valerie.
Thank you.
Well, we want the latest update on the Kingsport Carousel project, but first, tell us about how this project began from day one.
Well, about 6 years ago, my husband, who died about 4 years ago, came in the house out of the blue and said, Kingsport needs a carousel. And I said, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my entire life. I was on the board. I said, we don't have $500,000 to build a carousel building. What are you talking about? He said, well, I grew up in Binghamton, New York, and Binghamton had carousels because we had a philanthropist, Charles Johnson from Endicott Johnson Shoe Company, who gave 6 beautiful carousels to the triple cities of Binghamton, Endicott, and Johnson City, New York. And he said, Kingsport needs one. And I said, Gail, it's impossible. When pigs fly, we'll have a carousel in Kingsport. But he got a lot of people involved and got Bonnie McDonald, who is, of course, the head of cultural arts.
Yes.
They made a trip down to Chattanooga to a carving studio with carving carousel animals. The man's done it for years. And got everyone excited and got some real spearheads excited. And by the time Gail died, it was already beginning to take place. So that's how it started.
It's just been an amazing project, and of course you celebrated the groundbreaking, which was a huge accomplishment. I'm sure that for a lot of you all who had the vision of the carousel, you weren't even sure when the groundbreaking would eventually come about, and so now everybody's abuzz about what's the latest with it. So tell us about that.
Well, we're going to break ground probably the 1st of September, right, the first couple of weeks. We finally have everything in place. We had to move a road. We had to put a stoplight in. Just little things. We had to obtain the property. And we've got 29 of the 32 animals finished for the carousel. They're all over the community. We have the last couple are being finished. They're 75% finished. And we've got 24 little animals that go up in, well, I call it the rafters. It's called the sweeps.
Okay.
So as you ride the carousel, you'll see all these little animals all around. Those are almost finished. And I started carving, a year after Gail died, I decided I wanted to carve a carousel animal. I've never carved a bar of soap. So I was an art major, but I never had done the 3-dimensional work with wood. So I bought the 4 first tools. I did that 4 first tools, and started learning how to glue the boards together and come up with a pattern. And I carved 2 full-size rides. One is a unicorn for little girls to ride, and one is a dancing cat in a tutu and toe shoes.
For Bob to ride.
For Bob to ride.
That's right.
And then I did a couple little animals for the rafters, and then I had to do the pig that flew.
Of course you do.
Looks
So
great.
this is my Pickle, the flying pig, and she will go on top of the ticket booth.
She's amazing, just
wonderful.
incredible. And again, as you said, no carving experience, and you did that, which is just a great example of all the volunteer work that's gone into
We
the
have
carousel
something
project.
like 220 volunteers at last count who have put countless hours in this project.
Do you still need more volunteers?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Okay, Saturdays and Wednesdays when the farmers market's open, they're having paint-ins. And I even had lists. They need people to help paint. 21 rounding boards, 12 light boards, 12 angel frames for mirrors, 12 ornate shields, and 12 button shields. Now those have to be painted when we put the carousel together, which we'll hope to do right after the first of the year, and start getting it balanced. Also, we'd like to have volunteers sign up that will work at the carousel when it's running to help run it and to help run the gift shop.
Sure.
Wonderful.
So that's needed.
And so that makes me think of 2 questions. First off, when you're talking about volunteers and you sort of run through that list of things that you need, it sounds a little intimidating, but I trust that there will be people there to show them what needs to be
Oh,
done.
absolutely.
So anybody out there who's interested in doing it, but he thinks, there's no way, I don't know how to do that, come on down anyway.
We
right?
have a lot of volunteers that have never worked anything, but they want to be a part of it because it's a magical type of project.
And then you mentioned that you hope to be putting it together around the first of the year. So
Yeah.
does that mean you have an anticipated opening date for the carousel?
We're hoping March or April, the building will be complete to the point and the gift shop complete, but we hope to have the animals all ready to go on by, I think he wanted everything finished by November.
Great.
So everything will
Okay.
be ready.
It's wonderful.
We still have a few needs.
Sure.
One, we need more money for the gift shop because we're building this on volunteer money and not counting on the city.
Uh-huh.
We have what we call first rider tickets. Now, if you all haven't bought your first rider tickets, you need to. For $100, you get 6 tickets to ride the carousel. The first 2 weeks we're open, only first riders get to
Wow,
ride.
Neat.
that's great.
And what we'll do is we'll probably have a photographer, we'll have some special events, we'll have all sorts of things so that your child can have, or us as carvers, can have our picture made on the animal that you pick, and it'll say, you know, first rider and give the date. So it'll be fun to do.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, this has been a great update. If people want even more information on the Carousel Project, where can they go to find that?
2 things. One, please come by the studio. There's always someone there carving. We're now only open Monday through Wednesday from 9 till 5 because we just don't have as many people carving as we did. But we're open then. Plus, you can come by Saturday mornings. Some people work on Saturday mornings. Come by the studio or talk to Bonnie McDonald or Reggie Martin. Reggie's the one who's given the most. He probably gives 50 hours a week to this
wow.
project.
Wow.
And Reggie and Bonnie are the ones who
incredible.
really have managed to keep us all going.
And of course, Bonnie's with the Office of Cultural Arts for
Yes.
the City of
Yes,
Kingsport, so
at
you
the
can find
Renaissance
her there.
Center.
And then tell us where the studio is.
Studio's on Lynn Garden Drive. If you go down Lynn Garden Drive, it's at one of the lights where Subway's on one side, Walker Street's on the other.
Okay.
Turn up Walker Street, and you'll come to the Lynn Garden Community Center. Pull around the back, then you can come right in and hear us working.
Great.
Would Bonnie also be the resource for people who want to make the donation, get the first rider tickets and that
Absolutely,
sort of
or any of the studio is selling them.
Okay.
And we hope to have a place open downtown where you can buy them pretty soon, hopefully.
Great.
Because those are, we've sold a lot, but we want to sell them all before Christmas.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Well, Valerie Yo with the Kingsport Carousel Project, thank you so much for the vision. Thank you for making the vision come to life. It's just so exciting. We just can't wait to see this open.
Well, it's magic.
it is.
Thanks, Valerie.
You're welcome,
Okay,
hon.
Laura, do you hear that?
Is that the drum beat?
I think that's the drum beat of the Dobbins Bennett Marching Band. When we come back, we'll hear a preview of their fall halftime show, so stay with us. Welcome back to your Kingsport Chamber Zone on location from the Full Gospel Mission Church at the Kitchen of Hope.
Hard to believe that fall is almost here, but Friday's fall in Kingsport, Tennessee, that means that we are going to have a packed J. Fred Johnson Stadium. And a lot of the fans come out not only to see the state's winningest football program, that is the Kingsport Dobbins Bennett Indians, but they're like my husband and me, we come out for the band because the band is fantastic. And here to tell us more about that fabulous band that we have at Kingsport Dobbins Bennett are Leif Cook and Melissa Dixon. Leif, of course, as you all know from his many appearances on the Kingsport Chamber Zone, the outstanding director of the band. Leif, welcome. We're so glad to have you.
Appreciate the exposure.
Melissa, along with your husband Tom, you are the proud presidents of the DB Band Boosters, just a wonderful organization that provides so much for the band. So we're so happy to have you on here as well.
Thank you.
Now, Leif, I know you can't give away all of the secrets. I know you want to have some surprises about the halftime show, but we're dying to know what you have
Well,
planned.
the truth is there are no secrets this year because
okay.
the show was put together by votes that people voted on through the community. So you may remember in the spring we put on our website 12 sort of classic marching band tunes, and we said, Jeff Fleming blogged it out, and we communicated it in a variety of ways, and we told people they could vote on their favorite 3. And the 3 that won, we put in the show. So the show makes actually no sense at all when you look at it holistically, but the 3 selections are stuff people will know and really like.
Fantastic.
Well, tell us about how you create and design these wonderful shows. Do you seek input from your students and others, or do you just rule with an iron fist like Bob does? With
No iron fist when it comes to that. In the past, we have actually let the students, to some degree, choose the shows. You know, a few years ago, when Glee was big, and Glee had done a big Journey thing on one of their shows, and so we did a Journey show. The kids were all into that, and so a lot of the shows have been picked that way. This year, because we let people vote, I think the kids voted, but so did a lot of adults. And it's so interesting to me what kids are into. You know, we always assume that they're really into pop music and what's current, but at least the band kids also have a lot of knowledge of other things. And so the opening selection is a medley of Les Mis and Phantom of the Opera, which the kids were really excited about. And I was surprised they even knew about it, you know. The second tune is When a Man Loves a Woman, the old Percy Sledge song from the 70s.
That one.
And then the closer is 1812 Overture. And so it's, again, it makes no sense when you put it together.
All flows right into each other. Even more reason to come out and see this show. Melissa, those of us who've watched the band perform and who've heard the band practice know that, of course, students, obviously Leif and his staff put in just an inordinate number of hours to make that show happen. That being said, the DB Band Boosters are just the backbone behind that band, what really makes it happen, and without your support, there's no way they'd be able to do what they do. So tell us about the Booster organization.
You know, it is a great organization, and it's made up of talented, hardworking, generous, kind people, mostly band parents or families. Even former band students or parents of former band students come out, and overall, our objective is to take care of the students, whether it's providing water at practices or football games, food when we travel, other needs such as scheduling the buses for traveling, fitting uniforms, loading and unloading all that equipment, or maybe needs for the band as a whole, like fundraising.
Sure.
You know, we do that so that the band directors can focus on what they do an exceptional job of, which is taking well-composed music or fabulously choreographed drills and teaching the students. And then we all sit back on a Friday night or at a competition or a concert, and we just get to enjoy the talents and the hard work and efforts of the students and the directors.
And excuse me for just a second. I just want everybody out there just to think for a second about everything that goes into the fact that you have 400 plus people being coordinated out on a football field or in a competition, and everything that goes behind it. And that's what these people do, and not only do it, but they do it superbly.
Well,
I mean, it's incredible.
Well, you know, when you think about what you're talking about, the choreography on the field, that's the easy part, frankly. When you think about the logistics of them getting all 400 of those people to something like the Rose Parade in California, or even a football game at Science Hill, that's where these booster folks, we would not. You know, the band student to teacher ratio, we're very fortunate in Kingsport to have 3 band directors at the high school, which is not common in Tennessee anyway. But even that, the student-teacher ratio is like 150 to 1, and so it takes these band booster volunteers to do anything with our program.
And if people want to volunteer, how can they get involved with the band boosters?
Well, of course, we send out a volunteer form to families early on before the first count begins in June. But we do, Mr. Cook referred to our website, which is dbband.org. And you can scroll down to the boosters, click on that. Our full roster's there of executive board and committee chairs. Just simply pick out something you think you're interested in helping with, call that person or persons. You know, donate 30 minutes or 30 hours, whatever you want to do. And, you know, anything is needed and greatly appreciated. So,
Leif, you mentioned or referenced the Tournament of Roses Parade that the band was just recently in. That's, of course, just one of the perks that these students get to enjoy is being in the band. So tell us about the trips that you have planned coming up.
Well, we're kind of, this year is sort of between big trips. You know, we did the Rose Parade last year, and even the presidential inaugural parade right before that. And so we like to let the community take a breather on how much money we ask them to help us raise. And so this year we don't have a big trip where the whole marching band's going. We have a really neat event, though, for our oldest, most experienced students, which are in our top concert band, which we call our Wind Ensemble.
Okay.
They were invited to perform at Carnegie Hall in New York.
Wow, neat.
And so we're taking
great.
about 70 of our kids up there to do a concert in Carnegie Hall. It's going to be incredibly exciting and a neat opportunity. So I guess that's the big one for this year. And
Yeah,
then
that
we're
would be
kind of
fun.
making plans for what's next with the whole marching band. But I tell you, we really take seriously our role as ambassadors for Kingsport when we do these things like the Macy's Parade and the Rose Parade that are on national TV. And we would not do those things without the incredible support of this town. I mean, It's amazing what we're able to do.
Well, and you do an amazing job, though, as our ambassadors. We're proud to have you.
Yes, and we know these trips aren't cheap, so do you have any fundraisers planned? And if people are interested in going ahead and donating to help you fund some of these, how can they do that?
You know, it's true. I don't care if your kid plays football or they're in Kingsport Ballet or they're a Dobyns-Bennett Band student, which is the largest student organization in all the Kingsport City schools. You know, it just, right now we have our band cards that are available, and they're, for the businesses are on that card, you get a % off. Coming up very soon is our fall fundraiser. That's our fruit and cheese sales, which we're fortunate to have had for several years.
It's fantastic fruit.
It is very fantastic. And that's the end of September. And then in about March or April, we have our spring fundraiser where we offer various products for purchase. We're also really happy to offer the Patriot Yard program, where if you sign up for that, you can display your love for our country. A volunteer will come out and place a flag curbside in your yard on 5 different patriotic holidays.
Oh, neat.
And lastly, you can just be a sponsor. You can be an individual sponsor, business or corporate. You can give to an individual student or to the band as a whole. And so again, if there's any questions about that or about band in general, we're on the website, dbband.org. My husband Tom or I will be happy to answer anything from anyone.
It's great. And so, Leif, if people want more information, anything and all, DB Band, is that the place to go?
dbband.org it's a really good website that people can use to learn more about all the things we do.
That's great.
Leif Cook and Melissa Dixon from the Dobyns-Bennett Marching Band, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to another fun and exciting halftime show this fall.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks
both.
for
We
having
appreciate
In
it.
our newly renovated stadium.
Yes,
It's gonna be-
even
it's
better.
gonna be exciting,
Even better.
yeah.
More sound, more places for the sound
Oh,
to
we can
reverberate.
see it all from up high. The lines will have to be straighter now.
Like that's ever been a problem with the band. We'll have more from the Kitchen of Hope on this Kingsport Chamber Zone right after this. And thank you for joining us on this edition of your Kingsport Chamber Zone. We want to thank the fabulous team at Charter Media who produces our show, makes us look as good as they do. That's right. Also want to say thank you to Nicole Austin for co-hosting today, standing in for Bob. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. And for more information on your Kingsport Chamber, you can call us at 392-8800 or visit us online at kingsportchamber.org. We're also very social, so you can follow your Kingsport Chamber on Facebook and Twitter every moment of the day.
That's right. You can always find out what's going on in Kingsport by watching the Kingsport Chamber Zone as well. We have just a couple of shout outs that we want to give out to you. Remember, for everything that you need to know about the Kitchen of Hope, if you want to volunteer, if you want to donate, whatever the case might be, please call 914-9982. That's 914-9982.
And we'll be hosting a Juice and Java to celebrate the United Way campaign kickoff on Tuesday, September the 9th at 7:30 a.m. at your Kingsport Chamber. And this is hosted by Seavers Bakery. And we'll be there too as CZ celebrates their 12th season.
Who would have ever thought? I was surprised that we got by 12 episodes, much less 12 seasons.
Well, we hope you'll join us.
Absolutely. And so for all of us here on the Kingsport Chamber Zone, we want to thank you. And once again, Nicole, thank you so much for filling in while Bob's doing his daddy duties. He has responsibilities much greater than the Kingsport Chamber Zone. We will ask all of you out there who are watching as well to please be loyal
and buy local. Have a great day.